holidays. We're coming up on the end of the year and the holiday season, and so I know that I've spent the last year kind of unpacking free tutorials and free concepts for virtual storytelling to meet this moment, especially for remote, isolated creators like me that are going out of their minds. However, I know that as we're getting into the holidays, the conversation around purchases and money and gifts starts to come up, and I already know a lot of folks from a lot of different workflows are trying to look into and think about different things. So I'm seeing people looking at buying a better web camera, or people looking at buying different apps that allow them to use their phone to Reflector to their computer, or to use like FilmicPro, an app to kind of like dress up or polish the recording that they're doing on their handheld devices. And so if people are going to start spending money, I wanted to throw out there how I make my videos and how all this stuff looks the way that it looks. I get a lot of questions in Zoom meetings, and especially my larger performances, about how my camera quality looks so nice, especially with a little bokeh in the background and with just the sharpness of the lens. That's because I'm not using a web camera, I'm not using a laptop camera, I am using a DSLR video camera. About a decade ago, I pivoted into digital content and digital content creation, and I have slowly acquired what I call a studio in a suitcase, which is a full cinema package and audio package that I can take with me pretty much anywhere in the world. It looks like this. Yes, it is like a military grade suitcase, but it does technically fit in an overhead bin. It is airplane standard size, which allows me to take it with me anywhere that I go and becomes convenient on set to run things around. So inside this Mary Poppins box, I have a GH5 Panasonic DSLR Micro Thirds camera. I put an adapter on it called a Speedbooster to be able to mount other more professional lenses onto the camera. I have a variety of different lenses that are way more expensive than I want them to be, but they look really, really nice on camera. These are actually made by a company called Duclos that takes photography lenses that are really pretty and artistic, and then they kind of hack them open and modify them for cinema use. So that's a way that you can get a slightly cheaper, prettier lens that has a little bit of texture and grit to it that just gives my content a specific look. So these are what we used when we were filming projects like Sona and A Tale Told by an Idiot to give it a kind of indie, distinct vibe. For non-transferable, we shot pretty much the entire film on a Sigma art lens. This is an 18 to 35 zoom lens that allows you to get multiple sizes and looks out of it, but it's a very just pretty lens that has actually become my normal desk office lens during the quarantine because it looks really pretty right out of the box. It can follow me with autofocus, and everybody pretty much comments on the really nice natural bokeh or blurriness that it creates behind me that makes it look and feel fancier than it really is. Lenses can be extraordinarily expensive, and you do get what you pay for, but a quick trick when it comes to like a standard kit lens or zoom lens on other cameras, if you push all the way in on the zoom and then back off of your subject and focus on them, it will kind of blur the background. It's not gonna look great, but it is a cheat to be able to make all of your lenses, especially your cheap out-of-the-box lenses, just look a little more professional and your content look a little more cinematic. We did this on my first series, Squatters, and it looked fantastic. Like Russian nesting dolls, inside of the case we have another case, which is my audio package and my ancillary little tools and screws and devices. So we've got two lavaliere microphones, and this device hot shoes or connects directly into my DSLR camera so that I don't have to sync audio, because it is something that I hate doing. So basically with this package, I have two lavaliers and a boom microphone that can sync directly into camera wherever I go, and it travels with me in this nifty little box. The underside container then has all sorts of little odds and ends and screws and rails and attachments that I might need during certain setups or certain shoots. Then inside the lid of the case, I sometimes zip in either an LED light or some power or, you know, a battery or cables, all sorts of other little nonsense that I might need for a specific shoot. So that's my standard setup, but obviously I've spent a lot of time building that, and if you priced it out, it is very, very expensive. Probably the most expensive thing I own, and I get very nervous about it. But it's what allows me to tell stories for a living on my terms, and I can literally just set it up at any time and start making content, which has really been a saving grace during this shutdown. Okay, Brendan, thanks for flexing your cool equipment, but how do I do this? All right, so we all start somewhere. So I actually first bought a small Canon DSLR camera many years ago and ran 2 YouTube channels that I grew with daily content, which was a terrible, insane idea. The people who helped me out were very, very awesome, but I was literally editing 5 videos a week and I was killing my soul. However, through that experience, I really figured out a lot about camera and lensing and microphones, and it was all done on this used Canon DSLR camera, which you can now actually get on eBay for around $200, which is in the ballpark of what you might spend on a really nice web camera during this holiday season. So is this like an ad for a camera? Why are you making this video, Brendan? No, hashtag no ad. No one is sponsoring me or paying me for this video, but Canon did put out an update during the pandemic that allows their cameras to attach directly to your computer and talk to it and broadcast what the camera sees as your webcam. Now, if I want to use my big expensive setup as my web camera, which I have done and it looks awesome, but it's pretty much overkill, I need a way to get the computer to receive the HDMI signal of my camera. This is done using an HDMI cable and what's called a capture card. I use the Elgato Cam Link, which itself is a $100 device. So even if you already have expensive camera equipment, you need to spend $100 just to get it to talk to your computer. This is where this trick will hopefully help you out. So you can take any used Canon camera, plug it in using USB to your computer, download the correct driver from their website, and immediately begin using a DSLR camera as your webcam, which allows you to improve your video quality immediately. So I can now leave a camera like this on my desk at all times. I don't mind what happens to it. It's not a piece of really expensive, valuable equipment that I might knock over or spill something on or just slowly let get loose and dusty by sitting out. I also can replace the lens with a more expensive lens when I want to dress up certain presentations, or I might want to rent a lens for a certain production, or I might want to try out different things with different pieces of content. This allows me to do that. So as we go into the holiday season, I wanted to give that gift to the community that you could buy a used DSLR camera as long as it is a Canon and matches one of the drivers on their website. Using USB, you can directly put it into your computer and immediately begin streaming better looking content. Boomtown. Now let's get into a real talk real quick. This is just for my theater people out there in the community. The recent Actors Equity and SAG-AFTRA agreement or waiver that they came together and signed says some things that I don't know if people intended or didn't intend it, but it says what it says. And it basically means that until December 2021, SAG-AFTRA is allowing for Equity and its members and its producers to create content that would normally be in its jurisdiction, which it is now defining as the entire internet. So we're talking about introducing cameras into your workflow, which means that in December of 2021, what we're talking about doing is going to become SAG-AFTRA's jurisdiction, not Equity's jurisdiction. Now, I fully invite you to take advantage of this year for R&D, for development, for expansion, grow your community, grow your subscribers, survive this moment, meet this moment, but just know that everything that you do on a camera, SAG-AFTRA is going to interpret it as theirs come December. So just make sure that you are future-proofing and diversifying your business. I would hate for people to invest in a lot of equipment and a lot of workflows and a lot of crazy stuff, and then it turns out that they actually can't continue doing that without becoming a SAG-AFTRA signatory, which may or may not work for their company or their members. Now, on that note, I have been a SAG-AFTRA signatory for over a decade. It is a long, complicated application process. It's not a fun application process, but it is relatively turnkey. You fill out an application, you submit it, they either approve or reject you, they might give you feedback, and then you're bound by certain rules and terms and conditions to make your content. But if you are a performer out there and you are considering purchasing any equipment during the continued shutdown, and especially over the holidays, maybe asking for it from Santa, know that this is going to be your best weapon. Get yourself a used DSLR camera, because not only could it be your web camera to just elevate Zoom readings, virtual performances, but also it becomes a self-tape device. It becomes a way that you can create your own content by upgrading nicer lenses, nicer audio. So it really is a tool that can evolve and scale to meet the different needs that you may or may not know are coming in the new year. That's it for this little rundown today. I know I owe so many case study videos. I upgraded to the new Mac OS and I literally lost an entire hard drive of stuff, as well as had to rebuild all of my OBS settings. So I'm running so terribly behind, but I'm hoping to be caught up by the new year so that I can start 2021 fresh. See you all on the other side. Hopefully there'll be some videos that come out between now and then. But please be kind to each other. Please keep sharing, like, subscribe, share, and give me your feedback and your comments down below. And now, go create something.